This is Sheila Corona. This is Conscious Conversation Central. Welcome, everyone. I got a full house tonight. I'm so excited about this. I am joined this evening by all of my good friends, Lisa Flamino Rush. I was going to say, Krystle, I was going to call you Journey Into It because that's what it has on your name there. Krystle Hemphill from Journey Into It and Beyond. Fawn Williams, who is a wonderful viewer, has come and had conversations with us before. And BZ Rieger. Everybody knows BZ from the IUV. And, oh, well, never mind. I was starting to say something else, but that was not mine to do. Okay, so to let everybody know what we're doing, there's been so much that's happened since we had our Playtime with BZ on the Lionsgate, and then Krystle came and had a chat with us, and then Fawn came and had a chat with us, and there's been so much happen along with a whole crap ton of activations. If you ask me, I think Krystle would agree too. Oh, and Fawn too. Actually, you've said something about that too. So I'm not even sure exactly where we should begin. Perhaps some of the Yellow Brick Road stuff, because there has been so much about this. After our conversation with Krystle, if I'm not mistaken, it was that same night or the next night, Lisa sent me via Telegram a screenshot, and I did a screenshot, and I captured it so that I could share, because I had a feeling, right? Well, first of all, I had to share it with Krystle because, you know, remember when you said something about the Yellow Brick Road and you thought maybe it didn't really apply and all of that. Yes, it did. I think on a huge level. So that night, I'm going to share the screen here to share with everyone that there was, and I'm sure some folks will know this, there was something that came through Telegram that said, follow the Yellow Brick Road. And inspect. CQDE, I think that's supposed to be coders and Bitcoin.
No. Coders be coding.
Oh, thank you.
That's how I read it.
Oh, no, I think you're right. I actually think you're right.
I like how they spelled code.
Yeah. That's a good
And then we have, I'm not sure what to make of all of that. Of course, I truly feel that nothing can stop.
And the next line is magnets attract.
What do you make of the night fight, Lisa?
I think a lot goes on overnight. I mean, it does for me. I don't know.
Yep.
I wonder what all the stuff in the brackets mean, like code B.
Interesting.
Right. I know. Yeah. I'm sure that it must mean something, but I personally have no idea what it is.
No, but it was synchronistic to our conversation, to say the least.
I'll say.
Whatever it is.
So I sent that to Krystle first thing the next morning, because I just took a screenshot of it on my phone, and then I sent it to her the next morning. And then Lisa comes out of her room, headed out to do her tune in, and I'm chitty chatting with her for a few minutes about all the synchronicities, and oh my gosh, can you believe what you found? And because she had already gone to bed and had sent that to me in Telegram, and we hadn't got a chance to talk about it. So we're sitting at the kitchen table, and you know, the sales paper for the local Ollie's Good Stuff Cheap store had come in the mail, and I was just mindlessly flipping through it, you know, not really needing anything, just looking at the advertisement, chatting with Lisa, and I put it over to the side, and we're talking, and my brain registered what I saw, and I had to grab it back again and pull it up so that I could share with Krystle what I found. Because, oops, let me move right here. The Wizard of Oz collection was for sale that morning for $19.99. Now, in truth, I love The Wizard of Oz. I always have, ever since I was a kid. However, all I ever knew about was the movie. I had no idea. I knew that the movie had been a book by L. Frank Baum, but I didn't know that it was an entire series. So now I am going to be purchasing. I'm hoping that they have enough down there, but because I'm kind of curious, what's inside that book? What are we, what is that leading me to? Or all of us I know what the Yellow Brick Road is, right? I mean, several of us have got the feeling behind that about what the Yellow Brick Road is. But Krystle, I'd love for you to talk about what happened when I sent you that screenshot that has from John McAfee.
Well, it just happened again when we were looking at it just now. It's something I've never felt before. I mean, I've done a lot of energy center work, and I've felt activations, and I've felt like pricklies or the intensity of the energy moving. I've felt those things before, but I've never felt what I felt when you showed me that, and it happened just now again. But I know how a lot of people, when they're like listening to certain music, certain frequencies, or they're just in meditation trying to like activate their third eye chakra, and you get like the intense pressure right here, or you'll feel like, kind of like the wavy sensation, things like that. So this is kind of like that, but it's intensified times 10. Visually, what I'm seeing is like an expansion of my crown, just the way that I have recently had a heart expansion. I'm definitely seeing and feeling that in my crown. I was telling you guys, a few minutes ago that I've been laid out for like the past hour, just an influx of energy coming through, trying to watch the video the part 2. And I also wanted to kind of kick this off on the Yellow Brick Road with saying I observed something about that video that kind of means something to me when it comes to the Yellow Brick Road. So this was about halfway through, and this probably isn't the whole picture, but I feel like it's a good aspect and it has a good meaning in it to me. But I was like, this is the Yellow Brick Road. I seen Lisa with her heart fully open and sharing the heart, the love aspect. I seen Fawn show up with her courage, coming to speak her truth. Beezy's got the brains, asking the questions. Miss Dorothy over here leading the way. And I was
Holy crap!
This is the Yellow Brick Road. We each bring something so unique to the table, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we amplify each other's uniqueness and making each other realize that we have the power all along. This is the Yellow Brick Road.
You just took that right out of my head. You just took that right out of my head, because I sat right here and in my head, I said, you realize that makes you Glenda. And the next thing you said was, you've had the power all along.
So that's something that, I observed while watching that part 2. I don't know. There's been so much that's coming in. It's like a brain jumble going on.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Well, so I'm sure there's going to be more about that will come in the yellow brick road in and of itself, because, well, Lisa and I were, tuning back in today to the mysterious Benedict Society, because Lisa's mom came to visit for a little bit, and we're sharing that with her. And there was actually a reference in today's episodes to the man behind the curtain.
His name is DL Curtin.
Right. LD Curtin. I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Well, that's the other thing about the whole yellow brick road thing. Like I said, I feel like that's one aspect of it, but it's also very significant with the times and, things going on out there. I don't know if we're leading into anything about that, but that's the other part of it that I'm feeling.
Well, for me, the one thing that I already know that it means to me is that I'm definitely on the right path. I'm not there yet. I know that, but that's what I'm taking from that. Absolutely, that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing, that, these kinds of conversations, well, they've been very helpful for me. And I've never hid the fact that this channel is not really for anybody but me. So, there's that. And Fawn, I have to be honest with you here. When I saw what you've shared today, what's been coming in for you, it also pinged me of the puzzle piece in regards to an intuitive reading session that I did for you. Every one of those things that you sent me, the minute I saw what they were, I was like, oh my gosh. Because the card that I pulled for Fawn was hot air balloon. Wait till you see some of these things, ladies. So Fawn,
following on what Krystle was saying, the yellow brick road, and you had the answers all along. It's also when we walk smartly, when we walk intentionally, and we, they spend a lot of time in the yellow brick road, right? There's scary things and all that kind of stuff, but there are also a lot of arm in arm where there is a coherence between them and a collaboration, and they're intentional, and they may be nervous or not know where they're going, the unknown, but there is joy in them doing it. It's almost like the joy may be a little tremulous at sometimes, just because, there's creatures out there, but they're going nonetheless. And I think that this whole gathering and play is a very good illustration of how we can all do that intentionally.
I love that. Before we move on to Fawn, Lisa, did you have something that you wanted to share about that? Because we've actually talked a lot about all of this stuff. So some of it, I can't tell what we've already recorded and what we haven't, because,
No, I don't. But what I do want to share real quick is that I do not know what Fawn has for today, from today. So I'm really excited to see what the new developments are, because I feel like we have met with synchronicity, which means we're in the flow and we're chucking and jiving now. So I'm excited. To me, that's what following the yellow brick road is about following the synchronicities and listening to my heart. And I love the delicious picture that BZ just painted for us, arm in arm with my besties. Follow, 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 follow. We're having a grand, spectacular time. At least I know I am. So thanks for playing, ladies. And let's hear about where we're going. What did you find?
So Fawn, I'm going to ask you to direct me as to when you would like me to launch your pictures. Fawn shared a lot of pictures, so.
Oh, let me just say, I got to watch the one that you did with Krystle, and I did get a lot out of that, and I will go over some of it. But You know, the yellow brick road, they have to tell you the truth in movies and cartoons and all that stuff. So we've been watching all this stuff thinking it's a big fairy tale, when really, because it was animated, oh, it wasn't true. But you know, I think it was. And then I kind of, after I seen those pictures, which you're going to show in a minute, Sheila, you know, I always thought my dreams of floating and flying and hoverboards and this was the future. You know, it was something I was saying, no, 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 no. That's the past. That's my past life. So in other words, Sheila picked up something the other day that she had no idea that she did, that I was going to see. So she picked up something in my future that was going to happen. And when I seen it, I was like, whoa. So in other words, we're picking up little glimpses of the future, because I did have a dream the other night, told my husband about it, and it came true that day. So, because I always do that just in case. So we are seeing glimpses of the future, but we are also traveling back to our past to discover who we are, who we were, and who we're supposed to be. That's what I took off this after I seen what I seen. But if Sheila, you want to show some of those pictures of the bubble thing and that, because I always, when I'm in a meditation, I always put the protective bubble around me. I think a lot of people do. You know, it's always this bubble and we're floating, and, you know, I was floating around my heart the other day on these little different colored circles. But wait till she shows you what I come across. These are old pictures.
Okay.
She is flying in a bubble. Do you see that? That's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Like
You're right.
the
And
light,
I didn't send you, Sheila, but there was a bunch of those where you could see their faces in like the Wizard of Oz, the hologram.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
that is. What?
We
The
had
what?
the flying, we had all the flying technology and the Tesla free energy and everything back then. Look at this woman. She's floating across the lake. And you can tell they're old pictures. Look at the old cars.
Well, you could date it precisely by their couture that they're wearing, so the different
Their
styles
dresses.
that they're wearing.
Right. Now
That one's
guy's
going
like,
to pick them up.
huh?
It's going to pick them up.
Oh,
They've called it over and they're going out, and it's going to pick them up.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
now,
I was like, whoa.
okay, well, now this is very interesting because I mean, these very clearly, okay, this one has a band, okay?
Yes.
And I guess that one, the band is around it where you can't see.
Mhm.
But these are making me think of, well, I'll wait for that one because you got something else on that. They're making me think of okay, stories from Corey Good and in regards to the Sphere Alliance and the Sphere beings and how they would come and just envelop him and take him somewhere. I mean, that's the story that he's, you know, sharing. I just, it's a puzzle piece. So I wanted to offer that up here because, wow.
Yeah, but what are the odds of me stumbling across that video that's showing all these pictures the 13th, yesterday? Yesterday is when I stumbled across that.
Wow.
Well, now I can already hear it. There's a whole lot of folks that want to know about that video. So you have to send me
I
the
will
link.
send you the link to the video. It's very, I mean, I watch these girls all the time and they always have a lot of great. She's the one that also had the 200-year-old shoes that had magnets on the bottom of them. She had a picture of it in the video that she showed.
Ah,
Oh my.
So it's very interesting what she says.
well, there is a lot of, you know, a lot of thought out there about the fact that, you know, there's a lot we don't know, and about the Earth's history. And I'm not talking about long time ago. I'm talking about, you know, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a lot of folks that have said that what was the name of that there, and it's been taken down so many times. There was a documentary for a while that was called The Lost History of the Flat Earth, I think.
Yeah, Flat Earth. And basically a lot of that documentary was true. You remember when they showed the sidewalks that people were just gliding on?
Yeah.
Well, they had all that. And remember the city that lit up like better than any Christmas place you've ever seen in your world?
Yeah.
They had all that Tesla technology. They had it all. We had it at one time. Well, you know, we always thought, oh, well, the Jetsons, the cartoon, you know, which was in the 70s. Oh, they must have thought about it in the future. They already knew about it. That's from our past. We're thinking it's from our future. That's from our past.
Yeah. Well, you know, personally, I feel like everything happens concurrently anyway.
Right.
And the only thing that really, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to explain what it is that I feel about that, but I do feel like
there's a lot of talk too, you know, about their, you know, we're in the release, you know, alien technology and stuff like that. All of that stuff is all very, very, very old. So it may seem new, it may seem, wow, you know, Jetson sort of stuff. It's very, very old stuff.
I completely agree.
And what I think people don't have a concept of is all of these things now, like you see the bands around those. Well, when you construct something from either a reverse engineering perspective or trying to do it in a constructible way, as opposed to an organic way where it's intentionally coming forth from the being and the being may draw it or whatever and you create it. All of these crafts and these things, there is a component, much like in Avatar, where he takes his braid and he connects it when he's riding the horse and stuff, the horse creature. So there is it's a coherence with the two beings, the, you know, mechanical sort of a being, and then the being who's guiding the craft or whatever else it is. And when that happens, there is no need for those other things, right? The seamless parts come together because there is the coherence from multiple realm and frequency levels.
well, this talk of this actually has brought to mind for me the Antikythera mechanism. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It was something that was found off the coast of Greece, and I actually pulled it up here to share with you guys. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that that's a very real thing that, you know, here it is here. They pulled it off the seafloor. And they're saying that it's the oldest example of an analog computer used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades later. Now, I remember when they first found that thing, they didn't actually know what it was. And I'm not so sure I believe their explanations at this moment of what they, you know, think it is. You know what I mean? But so that's something that they've, you know, actually released. So it just kind of brought that to me for some reason to share.
Now, Sheila, you shared a couple pictures that you had doodled. One was a shoe that everybody says, oh, that's an old shoe.
Yeah, I said that.
We were talking about the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
But then I noticed in Krystle, she mentioned the song. She couldn't think of what it was. Sheila you mentioned songs. I mentioned, you know, Gorky Park, the one that I like, the Scorpions, Winds of Change. And I looked more into that musical instrument. Yesterday I did, and I sent it to you.
Yes, you
Okay.
did. Let me
Hold
pull
on.
that up. You want me to pull up the picture or you want me to pull up the
Picture of the
Wikipedia?
musical instrument.
Okay, just the picture of the instrument.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me, there's another picture that's a little bit that showed, there we go.
Now look at the middle of that picture and pull up your little picture that you drew.
You know what? I can't pull up my little picture that I drew.
Where is your little picture?
It's not here anymore. It was on a piece of paper and I thought we were done and I let it go.
Now that is the exact thing on the middle of that guitar that you drew.
Why am I not remembering that?
BZ,
What's that?
you remember what she drew? It had a hole in it and it had like the flower type thing around it and she couldn't figure out what it was.
Right.
There it is, right
Oh, I got you. The emblem there in the
there.
center.
The middle of the where the hole is in the guitar and there's like a flower around it. That's what she drew.
You're right.
Why am I not remembering that?
Look at the video, you'll remember it. You had it in your video that we did.
Right. Okay.
Now, go to the little girl that's playing that.
Okay.
That's where I noticed it the most on her musical instrument. I zoomed in on it. She was 7 years old and that's the only video I went in to hear what it sounded like, right? And I noticed the song that she was singing was Cinderella, or the song that she was playing was Cinderella. You drew that shoe that looked like an old shoe. Okay. And we're all thinking Wizard of Oz, right?
Right.
But if you go back to her shoe, Cinderella, it kind of looks like the shoe you drew. It wasn't, and you pictured red. Well, her hands look red.
Well, that's true.
Another thing is,
well, I want to point something out real quick too, Fawn. If you recall your drawing, that looks kind of similar to what was going on in that triangle.
Yes, and Lisa kept saying something about glass, the wine glass shattered. Well, those are the glass slippers. Yeah. Now, another thing is the fairy godmother. Right. I said in our talk when we were all on camera, I said, yeah, bibbity bobbity boo.
Yes,
Cinderella.
Well, and that's the scene where she bibbity bobbity boo.
That's right.
Yeah. So I thought, oh my God, Sheila has seen the instrument that I was talking about in the song that I couldn't remember the whole name of it. And I didn't even really pay attention to the middle of the instrument, but you pulled that little picture of that instrument out that I was going to see the next day. You also drew the slipper that you had no idea what was at. And I watched the little girl at 7 years old play Cinderella. That's the music she played. And she had a blue sparkly dress on. And you know, when I listened to that song, I could feel it in my heart. I mean, literally. And I don't like anything. I call it elevator music. I don't really like anything like orchestras. BZ mentioned orchestra in that last talk. So when I watched that little girl play that thing, she was in an orchestra and she was playing Cinderella. So it's like, Sheila, you picked up on what I was going to see the following day after the video that we shot. You just didn't realize it.
See, so that's a good example right there. I mean, part of this whole thing, but it's also very illustrative of to help us to really have experiential proofing so that we can now train our vision and our knowing and our seeing that things are not like this, they're like this. And so you were just following the way you just, so Sheila saw this, that she was going to give me the next day, right? But it's all of this stuff. And one of the reasons that this in a play way, it's cool and it's, you know, all these synchronicities and all these things come and you kind of remark on it that there, you know, this and that came here, right? Because what is about to unfold and reveal at a very fast clip that will then hyper accelerate and then starting in the next day or two, right? And go even faster and become quite intense, right? It's going to be incredibly helpful for a bunch of people and then another bigger bunch of people and more to have a full, even if they don't grok at all how the pieces go together, to really have a full comprehension that and begin to very quickly develop their mastery in it, that things don't go like this, because what will unfold and be revealed will need to be decoded and explained and played with the everyday person on the street, just to use that, with all these beings who are awake and who are awake in a holding way. So they're not just truthers and they're not just this, but they've got it all coming together and integrated in a coherent way, right? And the reason that is because that is the way what has happened, what has been unfolding, what is coming clean and is unwinding and unbinding to bring this whole construct, false construct, down, can only be comprehended, at least on, even if you don't go into the depths of it, when you understand that it doesn't happen like this. It happens like this because it's happening on multi dimensions, real time. And what was back there is actually pre-paved, which was the future, but it met around. So, and then when you can at least let kind of all resistance and a gasp, whoa, at that, then the picture clicks right in, you can see all of it. And when it's seen, even if it's difficult, even if it's got depths of horrificness in it, when the picture clicks and can be seen, something will click in each being, something that will click and release. It'll bring it up and out, like a zip popped. The festering will come out and it will flow. But right behind it will flow of love and awareness. So that's what you hear a lot of talk about, the flash and all these kinds of things, where there'll be quite a large flow of love that comes in, that kind of raises all the boats, right, in the love scheme higher, so that it's easier to comprehend, right? Instead of pitchforks and all that reaction, because that's a reaction way down here when it's all like this, right? But when you start to see it, you will get more of the whole picture from your sensory array that's able to look at things.
Okay, so that's all really great news. After the intense activations that I've had since yesterday, when you said that it's going to get even more intense, I'm like, oh, okay. All right, well, here we go. Strap in.
Well, I looked more into that song, the song that I've been thinking about it for like a week. I keep hearing the whistling, the whistling, and then it starts to sing. And I'm thinking, why do I keep thinking about this song?
You did go and look up the lyrics, right?
I did look up the lyrics, and I have the lyrics, yes.
Awesome.
And what was interesting is when I read about this song, they wanted the producers in that wanted to veto the whistling out of that song. And they said, absolutely not, because that's the flow. And we've been talking about the wind and the flow and the vibration. Well, when you whistle, you've got wind and flow and vibration coming out of your lips. There is no words there. It's just the wind and the vibration and the whistling. So then when I looked deeper into this song was played at a peace revival in Berlin, in Moscow, after 2 weeks before the Berlin Wall came down. So this song represented a very rough time that turned into a beautiful time. And I kept thinking Woodstock, and they mentioned Woodstock in there after I read more.
Well, I'm not surprised that, because
kind of like what we're going through at that point.
Yeah, in some ways, the energetics I feel are probably pretty close.
So there was a Bible verse that I read one time, and it's always been on my mind, and it makes a lot of sense. There's nothing new under the sun. So there's nothing new. It's all old.
Hmm.
So everything we're remembering and everything we're seeing that's coming forward it's already been written. I think that's my opinion.
I gotcha. Well, so like I said, it just seems to me like over the last couple of days, ever since we did this on the Lion's Gate, right? Of course, I get earworms all the time, but there's something very specific for me too in that song that you shared, Winds of Change. But I had another viewer, Tiger, who sent me a song, Hello, I'm Human. Yeah. And I posted it on my page yesterday, the video with the lyrics. And I have to tell you, there was something I tagged it #light encoded, because not just the first time I listened to it, I got an immediate rush, full on body rush. I mean, full on and huge. And then it's just like the energy started pouring, and it was getting so intense. I was having a little trouble breathing, and my heart started expanding, and my spine felt like I had to stretch it. So I knew I was being expanded, and most specifically via what I call my communication superhighway. So I came out to the living room to share this with Lisa. And as I'm sitting there listening to it again, I actually thought I might pass out. It was I got kind of dizzy. And so it's very, very interesting to me. That one was not an earworm. That was something that someone felt nudged to send me. And, there's something about following those nudges, BZ. You've always said that, and that it's absolutely so. I wanted to throw that in there, but also I really do feel like, Lisa, you are so smack on with what this is about following those synchronicities, because that is the yellow brick road, or at least it is for me.
Yeah, that which highlights.
Right.
Gold.
Right.
That's
and so day before, was it yesterday? I think yesterday. I don't know. The time is getting so weird for me anymore. And yes, I think it was yesterday. In the morning, I'd gone out I have a stationary bike on my front porch, and I'm trying to exercise at least once a day. Sometimes I don't make it that day, but at least 3 times a week I'm out there. So yes, this was right after I sent you the thing about the McAfee thing, Krystle. And all at once, as I'm walking out the front door, I realize that I've had an earworm. And sometimes that it's like, I get them so often that, they play back there until oh, wait a minute, that's an earworm. And I go look for it, right? Well, this one was hummingbird. And I'd never heard the song. I recognized the word. And apparently that's the title of it. So I went and found again, and I shared it on my channel. So it's there for everybody with the lyrics. And what was so really, and I loved the song. I love Crosby, Stills and Nash. But what was so interesting is that, and I finished that, and then I went on, did my exercising, and as I got off the bike, getting ready to come back in the front door, I'm looking off my porch, and there's this hummingbird right here. And I'm like, oh, can I take your picture? And he flew off. Now, I know that Lisa has seen hummingbirds in the backyard because she spends a lot of time in the backyard, and Albert's got a garden going back there. I've lived here since 2012. I have never once seen a hummingbird in this neighborhood. Not me. Lisa has, but I've never. And so to me, that was very significant, especially after just hearing that earworm. And then this evening, Lisa, you get to tell this.
Yeah, so we were preparing to meet at 8, and I am in the kitchen, as you might notice. So I was collecting my stones and things that I would want to play with tonight from my desk. And I wanted to close the mini blinds because my desk overlooks the street. You know, I'm right in front of the window there. And just as I started to crank the window, a hummingbird came from down below and like came up like that and just looked straight at me. And I said, oh, I was closing it as I saw him. So I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And I turned it back the other way so we could see each other. And we just looked at each other in the eye, and then he exited stage left real fast. Right before we sat down.
So,
Flyby sighting.
so is that, you said that was right before we was about to begin?
Tonight.
This evening. Yeah.
So, well, here's the other synchronicity with your hummingbird thing is about the same time that was happening for you. I was in my meditative state trying to feel more into the yellow brick road, see if I could get any more information about it. And I'd already told Sheila this, but the road just began to kind of disappear, and I fell into this, this nothingness and emerged as a bird. When I sent that to her, I never get, I'm going to tell you another part for yours. So I never get notifications for what people post on Facebook. But as soon as I had messaged her about the meditation that I had, it pops up on my phone. Sheila Corona posted such and such. So I go to click on it, and lo and behold, it's the song and her talking about that hummingbird. So I was like, what? And to hear Lisa just now talking about her experience with that hummingbird, told you guys I was in and out for the past hour before we started here, and the only thing, every time I'd kind of doze off and then come back to watch it, and then I'd doze off again, every single time it was transforming into that bird.
Love it.
So that's
And
crazy.
you notice I keep turning off and on my mute button. Well, the last moment I did it because the dogs were all getting excited and they were about to woof, right? There was 2 hummingbirds in the window behind me, and when they fly, they'll tap their beaks because it's pretty long. Sometimes I think they're dueling with each other, but they'll tap on the glass, and that's what they were doing. So that was maybe about 5 minutes ago.
I rest my case.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you really just cannot. I mean, oh my gosh. How awesome. Well, I guess in a lot of ways, we kind of know that the yellow brick road for me at this point, I really just feel like it's a huge validation and confirmation that apparently, at least, we are on the right track with what it is we're doing. I mean,
You know what else is, I'm just getting like visuals, so I'm going to try to explain what I just seen. So we're following the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road is our acknowledgement of ourselves and the gifts that we have, and moving forward from here, finding who's behind the curtain, moving past that. What I seen was like the collapse or the takedown of the, the evil or the wicked witch, whatever you want to call it here. And oh my gosh, what was the other part? It was like a visual was coming in this way and then a visual was coming in this way, like feeding me information over here. Give me a minute. Y'all go ahead and talk and it'll come right back.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, something came in for me with what you just said, actually.
Yeah.
Because my memory of the Wizard of Oz movie is that in the end, Dorothy takes the wizard home with her, remember, in the balloon. And the wizard was evil. But when we find, and now I can't remember, I don't think this was in the classic movie, but there was at one time something that had come out on, I think it was a limited mini series, and I want to say NBC, of The Wizard is what it was called. And in that, the puzzle pieces that I'm recalling is that the fellow who was classified as the wizard, and apparently that must have been part of I just thought some writers came up with it, but now that I know there's a whole bunch of books, maybe that's where they came from. But the wizard didn't ask to go to Oz either. He ended up there. And not from the book, this is from that show, so I don't know how much of that is true to the book, but he only became the wizard because there were things that he knew from another world that they didn't. And so eventually, I don't know if his ego and all these other things, but for me, what just came in there was, as this unwinding and unbinding happens, as the system collapses, yeah, there's a lot of folks that we've classified as evil, but I got to tell y'all, I know now for myself, if I hadn't had the kind of crap that I've gone through in my life, and God knows there's been a bunch, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I don't want to, I don't want to beat any of these people up either. I'm just remembering that Dorothy showed enormous compassion. And I guess that's why that must have come in that particular way. So did you remember, Krystle?
Yeah, I just want to say too, on that point, that speaks to me on levels of, maybe sometimes that wizard behind the curtain that's pulling the strings here is, in a sense, being made to do certain things out of fear, etc. But yeah, I did remember what I was wanting to say on the birds note. So I was getting the visual about what the yellow brick road was, the symbolism behind it, and the bird. Well, I guess you guys talked about this if you really think about it, because I was hearing bits and pieces of it. But you guys were talking about letting your bird out, your blue bird out. Birds always have represented freedom to me. Always. I was telling you the other day, talking to a guy, he asked me, what's your favorite animal? I said, a bird. And spontaneously, well, why? Well, freedom. Freedom, that's why. So I was getting the symbolism of what the bird actually represents. Like it's let's constantly show you what you can have. Let's constantly, bring that in. It's like a reminder. So let me come in and show my face.
No, I agree with that. I thank you for remembering that. I think that it's well, and I had actually forgotten that too, that you had that bird thing, and I was like, oh my God, wait till you see the video with Fawn. I didn't want to corrupt that for you. I wanted you to be able to see that on your own. Well,
What's interesting, before Krystle just mentioned what she was mentioning, when you guys were talking, I was thinking free bird.
I did too. As soon as she
Yeah.
said bird.
Yeah, I was thinking, free bird, and I was thinking of the song Free Bird.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, okay. And then, she also said fear, because when you were talking about the Wizard of Oz, really, he wasn't that bad. He was just a little guy that was afraid of a situation that he was put in,
Mhm.
and he never could get home. So he kept that illusion going
Yeah.
out of fear. They thought he was the great Oz, but really the bad one was the witch and the flying monkeys.
Mm.
We're looking at the
I just
wizard,
want to know.
and really it was the witch and the flying monkeys.
What did you get, Krystle?
I
know
want to
you
know
got
if anybody else had something pop in their head when she just said that. So it really wasn't him, but it was the witch, and I'm thinking, and the witch's minions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I personally had a reference of a face. I'm not gonna go into that.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I got
Yeah.
pretty sure I got the face.
Yeah, I figured it out too.
And I think we'll just all leave that one right there. Shall we?
We shall.
But it kind of makes sense, because if you think about it, who's in right now is kind of an illusion, and somebody is pulling his strings, which would be the witch and the flying monkeys. We haven't figured out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I concur.
I think you'll find it gets even more interesting than that. It's not who one thinks is pulling the strings, but someone else. And the curtain is revealed it's pulling the strings to reveal that curtain. And then when the whole curtain comes back, you'll see who really is orchestrating the strings, because that was the strings that actually pulled that curtain, showed you what the curtain was behind the curtain. And those strings are being pulled by the one who will show you what all the curtains are fully open.
Mm.
Yeah, but if you think about it too, the wizard, he had that big hologram that he was some big illusion of a thing, and he was this little dude behind a curtain. And it was green, like the emerald, like Lisa mentioned green all the time. He was green. He was floating in a bubble like that picture we just seen.
Right. And so I feel like that's a huge metaphor. Okay, so for me, it's at least something for anyone who's fearful to consider. Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah.
In some ways. Wow. Well, we have to do a whole lot more of this.
Yes.
Yeah, because I noticed when I watched the part 1, Krystle said a lot of things that I kind of said, but she said in different ways. She said solar vibration. I said make ripples. Well, vibrations are kind of ripples.
Yep.
I just said in a different, and she said the song, which we already covered that. Sheila, you and Krystle talked about the heart expansion, which I think most of us felt, and I seen because I was watching my heart and kind of floating around it.
You're right.
So we all got that.
Right.
Her body, she said her body was feeling light and was floating. Well, I said I was floating also. I was floating around my heart on little discs, and I just felt relaxed. And, so a lot of the stuff that Lisa, the flipping, fire, flickering, and levitation above the trees, which we were all talking about floating and flickering and sparkles and light, and we all were describing it different, but I think we were seeing similar to the same thing.
Yes.
I've actually had something come in for me on that very specific thing, what Lisa saw, and kind of what I saw. If you remember, I had that really bright light that was only shining in my left eye, and it was encompassed by a thicker circle of really dark, deep purple, violet, indigo kind of, right? And there was a part of me that felt as though, okay, so I've had this suspicion for a while that the whole, with, like I've said before, everything is the same. It just, it graduates up and it graduates down. right? In terms of the toroidal field and things like that, I've also, it's as though I keep being shown black hole. And for one thing, that light that I saw with the real deep, I mean, it was so deep, if you know, it could have been black closer into the white, you know what I mean? But it was like a deep purple violet, sort of closer out to the edge of the rings, right? And so there was something about Lisa flying through that forest and being able to see the city below and all the violet flame, right? Well, I've heard others, and Lisa and I actually know someone who was back in 2016, 2015, 2014, having visions of her house, her fields, everything engulfed in flames. And yet it wasn't burning anything. It wasn't killing anything. It wasn't, and I can't recall if there was a color to it. Do you recall, Lisa, if there were?
No, I don't.
Right. And so again, I don't know what any or any of that means, but I keep being shown the black hole. And I know that the little bit I've read about black holes, that on the opposite side of the black hole is the white hole. Well, of course, right? And I'm also continually seeing the toroidal shape, right? And I'm also reminded too that Nassim Haramein has a theory that between the two chambers of the human heart lies a black hole. Now, my theory about our physical vessels is that, well, and I've been shown in my mind how it enters into our physical vessel, and all of our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, and our focus, attention, and intention mixes within our physical vessel. And then it is the chakras, which coincidentally are rainbow colored. They all work together. And I feel that that is how we project our reality out our hearts through our black hole, and we walk through it as we move. You all have heard me say about, talk about that before. But for some reason, what Lisa saw, coupled with what I saw, brought that smack back again. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it means. I'm just putting it out there because I feel nudged to. Maybe someone else has a piece of the puzzle that they want to, come share.
I don't know if this would be a piece of the puzzle, but the only thing that I seen or heard after you said that was I seen, okay, you're moving outwards, but what I seen was, okay, here's your black hole. This is your white hole, your white light of creation. I don't know if that has.
Very interesting. Well,
the color black contains all colors,
mm-hmm.
right? And other colors don't contain, when you see a color, just the way that it's registered in the electromagnetic field, you're not actually, what you're looking at, that is that color, like you could say the blue planet, it's doesn't hold that color. It actually refracts everything but that color. So that's why it appears blue. It doesn't have that.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Hi, Quinley.
I know, she's so cute.
I know.
And that's why you can see it in so many different, when your eyes are, keep expanding, like the heart expansions and everything else, I refer to it as, more crayons in your crayon box. So you get bigger and bigger crayon boxes, and, you got the 124 and the 268, right? And you'll see them. And so you'll see many more shades of the different colors, because you're actually picking up on the different facets within you that are letting those those shades come at you where you couldn't see them before. So it's more information that's being brought out to you. It's, because they aren't in what you're looking at, it separates it out. So it's a way to give you like more data files, get flashed, like flashcards get flashed to you of information that you can then get the information off of.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I didn't know that about I know that color is frequency. I didn't know that other piece. So thank you for that, BZ. Well, I do know that BZ's had a couple of these kind of things come in for her that she's willing to share with us. And so we will be doing more of these, which I think is awesome myself.
Yeah, this was great.
I think it was kind of great because me and Krystle did it different, but we really picked up on a lot of stuff, and everybody else kind of joined in and picked up on little things too.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
all collective picking up on we're getting those little sparkles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I really enjoy about it. Oh, we're supposed to see. Okay.
Here's you another synchronicity that my 4-year-old just brought. It's fairies.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, sweetie pie.
Me and her both picked up on that card. She even drew a fairy in that first one. I noticed that Krystle did.
Right. Yes. See, so there's just, and I want to tell y'all, we're moving a lot of energy. I was freezing earlier and I'm about to sweat. Now I got to come out of my socks because, oh my gosh.
You know what I've kind of noticed with that? Every time something about fairies is mentioned, I myself start getting heated internally. And that's how I'm feeling now.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like it comes from, oh, that's very interesting that we're both having that.
Yeah, well, I just slid my slippers off because my feet were hot.
You'd say, oh, okay. Very interesting. Okay. Wow. Well, I really appreciate you ladies coming in and having this conversation with us this evening, because this has been a heck of a time, man, putting all this together. And I want to say too that, so I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do this again, but I do want to invite everyone who will see this video. Of course, you'll see it probably earlier on BZ or Journey Into It first before you see it on Conscious Conversation Central. But hey, that's okay. I'm so grateful that the two of you are willing to do that and share with me so that I can share it with everyone. I should be released from
Valentino.
Say what? Oh,
I see Valentino. I love him too. Love you, Valentino.
So I should be released from the YouTube Hooskow tomorrow. If I've read the information correct, so we'll see. And if
at midnight tonight when it clicks over.
That's right. And believe you me, I will be up because I got some videos to upload. So if indeed, she brought her little octopi to share.
Very sweet. All the visitors. I love it.
I know, right? So I am it is on the docket to do a Sunday salon live tomorrow night. And this is going to be to take the place of our Friday free-for-all that we didn't get to have this Friday. And you already said yes. Yes, BZ? Are you going to be able to join us tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm not certain. I got
okay.
working, so I'm not certain.
All right, I got you.
I'll see if I can, but I'm not certain.
I gotcha. Well, we did get to confirm with Kevin, so he will be joining us, and of course, Lisa will join us. And I want to thank all of you ladies for being so supportive and just, stepping up and playing such a huge role in my own growth and expansion. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. I don't know that there's not enough gratitude that I have in my body to say how much I appreciate and love all of you ladies. So thank you. So there will be in the show more section of this video, once it goes up on the channel, links to Journey Into It and Beyond. Please do go and take a look at everything that Krystle is doing over there. I got to tell you, her activations, her light encoded activations, they're just about the only thing I'm listening to anymore for meditation. And they really have been doing a huge number for me, I got to tell you. And you'll find links to BZ's website and channel. Make sure to go to i-uv.com and get all kinds of information there. But also, please do subscribe to both of those channels because they both have excellent videos there where you can go and take a look at them that don't appear on Conscious Conversation Central. And if you want to get in touch with Fawn, you can do that by sending an email to consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com. Put Fawn in the subject line, and I'll make sure that she gets that. And of course, everybody can get a hold of Miss Lisa Rush in the show more section. And do you guys have anything else you'd like to share before we actually sign off?
I'd say go play, and you and I will see everybody on Tuesday.
Awesome. Till next time, everyone. Choose joy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.